Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have on the show Andrea Feigl, and she is CEO over at Health Finance Institute, and the way that we originally connected was through the FII event that was over in Miami that just passed a bit ago. And I'd just tell you, for the audience that hasn't been listening to this series, I just was so impressed with the conference, everything they're up to, and really just the work being done. So first thing first, Andrea, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, and I'm excited to talk to you about the work that I do.
Wonderful. I guess just to get us kicked off here, FII Miami, I know you attended. What were your thoughts on the conference and the experience?
It was really, really great. So what I really loved about this particular version of the FII conference, and I've been to several of them, was they had a very specific focus on longevity and health. So they curated 2 conclaves, which was a roundtable meeting where we talked about healthy aging, healthy living, investment, and prevention, which is very much the focus of our company. And what they did particularly well was curated leaders in that field and had really in-depth discussions and in-depth and specific networking. So I got a lot out of this conference, both in terms of new connections and deepening existing ones.
Now, you mentioned you'd been to many or multiple others. What other ones have you gone to? Because this was my first one, and it's my first introduction to the organization, and I was just pleasantly surprised, honestly.
Yeah, I attended their conference in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia in fall 2022. So that was the first exposure to them, and that one did not have a health focus. It was very, very large, and it was sort of called Davos of the Desert. Yeah. And then there were a couple of side events in New York that I attended during United Nations General Assembly. And then this one in Miami, I made a point of going because of their focus on health, which they have been building over the last couple of years, which is a new area that they're also expanding on.
What do you think made this year so special? Like, what were some of your takeaways?
I think as a convening platform, they have a bit of a barrier to entry, which is either financial or based on reputation or the type of work that you do, so that the level of representation of the company that attends is really, really high level. I mean, they also had the current president of the United States speak, so I think that definitely drew attention. They're also opening an office in Miami, and I think what is making what they're doing special is that what's really happening is that Saudi Arabia and the whole Middle East are really becoming greater players in global investment, and they're really showcasing that to the world. And so I think that the growth and of their platform symbolizes also the growth of the importance of the Middle East and Saudi Arabia specifically in the global financial landscape.
So let's switch focus a little bit here. I would like to spend some of the time we have here getting into what you're working on over at Health Finance Institute as well. So maybe first off, start by telling us a little about the organization.
Yeah, so I founded and I lead the organizations now for about 6.5 years. And what we focus on is really building a business case of investing in health. I've been, in my previous career as a health economist, Harvard-trained health economist, we've shown that if you invest right in health, you can capture an additional 5 to 10% of growth of GDP. So, for example, Massa was one of the keynotes at the conference, and he talked that AI will drive 5 to 9% of GDP growth in the last couple of years, and this is why they have to invest billions of dollars into this emerging space. Look over to health. We have shown again and again in the academic space that we're leaving 5 to 10% of GDP growth on the table because we don't make the right investments in access, adherence, and prevention. So I founded the Health Finance Institute to basically bring this business case closer to public-private sector partnerships so that we can harness the power of healthcare economics and actually driving business and economic growth and basically explore the double or triple bottom line. So we do economic studies, we build business cases, we set up public-private financial partnerships, and we advise governments, international organizations, as well as startups and investors on how to de-risk their investments in health areas.
Where do you see, and I'm sure there's many places, but what kind of trends are you following within your space, and where do you see the opportunity or some of the opportunity?
So in a specific area in cancer, we see a lot of opportunity in terms of early diagnostics and utilization of AI and prevention. We have seen that early prevention actually saves billions to the healthcare system in breast cancer already. And now we're seeing a lot more diagnostics that with interaction with AI can actually really help and drive early diagnostics, a lot of access, savings to the systems, and increase in productivity. The longevity space, people want to live longer, as long as possible, as healthy as possible. So, and that's reflected in the conclaves and the focus areas of FII. And then sort of personalized health, prevention, treatment, sort of precision medicine and precision healthcare is really like a trend that we see as an emerging trend.
What would you like investors to know about investing in companies that generate demonstrable health impact?
I think I love this question. I think that the ROI that you can have if you invest in companies that create better health outcomes has time and again been shown to be higher than companies that actually are detrimental to health outcomes in the long run. So, and we have seen that by having non-resilient healthcare systems like in the pandemic, that you can have $400 billion wiped off balance sheets within months. And so basically by investing in companies that actually have a net positive impact on health, you're investing in greater productivity, greater macroeconomic growth, and also a healthier workforce. So in the end, it becomes sort of it reinforces itself positively. But right now, that value isn't necessarily captured in a company's share value or portfolio. So this is an idea that we're exploring where we launched a product recently. It's called the Health Impact Credit that measures the net positive health impact that companies have. My 10-year-old says, well, that's so cool. Then McDonald's can buy health impact credits from Moderna. So that's the basic idea behind it. But it's really to demonstrate the positive impact that companies have that is also standardized, that's recognized globally, and that could help companies address a market failure because the positive impact that they're creating by creating better health isn't captured in their portfolio value. So we want to basically correct for that and issue tradable tokens that reflect the positive value that they create in the economy as well.
And now this is a new concept to me, so maybe go a little bit further. Like, where did the Health Impact Credit, like, where does this stand today? Like, again, this is a new concept to me.
It's absolutely, you're right, and I'm sorry to just bring that on you. But the basic idea is that, so by creating healthier populations, we know that this helps their own bottom line because they have fewer health expenditures. They can be more productive members in society, but it's also helpful for the companies they work in, and it's also helpful for their insurers. It's helpful. It's economically beneficial for the burden on government and public services and so on. So in health, we measure the healthy life year lived with something called the quality adjusted life year. So 1 year lived in a healthy manner by one person is one quality. So we came up with, in our MVP that we just launched during the World Bank Spring meetings, we looked at the
Congratulations. Congrats on that. Got to pause for a second there. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were collaborating with Bayer and their self-care division, and we came up with 5 rubrics that basically capture the net positive health impact that they have as a company and that the self-care industry has as an industry. And we looked at access, we looked at impact to the healthcare system, impact to the individual, as well as priority to the worst off. And we're able to capture both the monetary and the quality value that they as an industry and they as a company create globally and put that to the test, and we created an app. And so that was the first step. We can basically say, okay, through creating better access through the self-care products, by lessening the burden on the healthcare system, on secondary and tertiary care, there's actually several double-digit billion-dollar value created through health for economies globally. And the next step is once the methodology is accepted and that the way these rubrics are set up are being accepted, that these credits could be offered. These credits have direct health savings impact to global health systems, to companies, to the countries that they're operating in. So that if it becomes a standard, right, if we say we want companies to be net positive health impact creators, then those that are falling short of that could basically offset. So think about carbon offsets. They could also offset the negative health that they create by investing in companies that actually create a positive health impact. the same way. Or if you're like an investor that wants to invest in net positive health companies, like you want to invest in a green bond or a green building, this vehicle allows them to basically make these decisions based on that kind of accreditation without having to sift through a novel algorithm or due diligence that you have to create individually and in a bespoke manner. So that's the bigger idea behind that concept.
Wow, that's fascinating. And how far along is this? You said the MVP has been created, but how far along? Like, where do we stand at this? Like, when do we hope to see some adoption? Let's dream for a moment, by the way. There's a lot of entrepreneurs and executives that listen to big ideas.
That by the end of the year, we would actually have a credit trading space for the self-care industry, for the big players in the self-care industry. So we have developed the rubrics, and we have for the 6 biggest players, we have the app up and running for the health impact visualization. We're currently in discussions so we've been accepted as a portfolio project with the World Economic Forum, in discussions with the World Bank and other players for data sharing and acquisition. So, maybe in Riyadh, FII, Riyadh, by the end of the year, maybe we can show we can have sort of a private auction of health impact credits or something like that.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Congratulations. I love when a big idea like this, people accept it. It has the ability to have big change and big impact, and it looks like it's moving. So that's amazing. Andrea, if somebody's listening or watching this and they want to follow up and they want to learn more about your work or Health Finance Institute, how do they do that?
Yeah, I think visit our website, healthfinanceinstitute.org, or email me. Andrea at healthfinanceinstitute.org is probably the 2 easiest ways of getting in touch. Simply as that. As simple as that, sorry. Yeah.
No, wonderful. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links in the show notes so you can just click on them and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Andrea, thanks again for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.